Big Daddy football family, welcome Bafethu in this exciting episode, because on the 1st Bafethu of February, it's the big one. It's the mighty one, Bafethu. It's Orlando Pirates against Kaizer Chiefs. Ezakepula umhlaba kamasipala zawubhekisa phezulu. They're up against the Impofana, the Glamour Boys. Abafana bokuthula noxolo. Who's winning this one? Bafethu, I don't know. As you always know, Bafethu, that in this channel, I break down games tactically, especially when I do pre-match analysis. I will break down games against the team that Orlando Pirates is going to play. So in this game, I'm going to look at Kaizer Chiefs, and look at them in all four phases of the match in terms of where, what do they do in that. I will look at where the spaces exist, where Orlando Pirates needs to put an extra man and exploit that space. A friend of mine always says, football is a game of overloads. Where can Orlando Pirates create those overloads? I'll look at the weaknesses, their strongest points, and also because there's also injuries from their side as well. Dube, Dupreez, as well as Orlando Pirates, and Diado, we're not sure if possibly he's going to be fit for this particular game because he's critical into how Orlando Pirates play, right? So the other thing that I will also want maybe to start with in this particular game is to look at Kaizer Chiefs attacking schemes and their shape and they're also their build-up scheme. So if you look at their build-up scheme in this instance, they have moved away from the diamond because normally they will create a diamond in a very, very congested area, where you're going to probably have the goalkeeper and the two center backs and only one central midfielder dropping in to collect the ball. They moved away from the diamond. They went back into what all other teams, or let's say most teams that do build-ups, where you're going to have three players in the box, which is the goalkeeper and the three center backs. Then you will have your left and right full backs, and then you have got the two central midfielders that will drop in to try and collect. If you look at the game against Sundowns that Kaizer Chiefs did, they pushed their full backs higher, and I think they struggled build up because for me, Kaizer Chiefs doesn't have comfortable players as well to be able to do proper in terms of build up because most of them, they are not press resistant and they've got mistakes in those particular build up. So I think in this particular game they are likely probably to have their full backs dropping a little bit, to provide that support, especially on the build up phase. But then again, if you look at Chiefs on build up, even on restart, or when they've progressed play, higher up the pitch, the key player in their build-up is Udotle. I think he's very, very critical for each Chiefs because goalkeeper Bavuma, as well as Miguel, I think you can allow them to have the ball because they are not going to hurt you. The only thing that Ubavuma probably will do most of the time is to play those long balls, which is where they create their particular chances. And Miguel tries it, but is not so good with it. So it will be very interesting what Orlando Pirates does when the goalkeeper has the ball and when Miguel has the ball. In my view, I will let them have the ball. The only player who I know provides solutions for them, in their build-up phase is Udotle. He's the one that has an accurate long balls, in this particular. Because if you look at it, currently, if you look at it, Chiefs, I think they have played the most accurate long balls per game in the entire PSL. I think they played about 24. So they are very, very good. And the player that assists them into that is definitely Udotle. So I want to see Orlando Pirates because are they going to press Udotle aggressively and stop him from playing those long balls, or are they going to leave him to play those long balls and they deal with the first and the second phase of that kind of attack? So it will be interesting for me to see that. And then secondly is sometimes Chiefs want to progress play through the middle. Most clubs, they like to play through the middle because basically if you win the midfield battle, for me, is when is basically you've won the match. But the problem that they have is players like Umteto. For me, I want Orlando Pirates to see what they're gonna do for Umteto, because he's a player that you have high probability of turnovers in high up in the Kaizer Chiefs, in the Kaizer Chiefs side. So I want to see what play Orlando Pirates have, because for me, if the ball is played to him through the middle, we all know he's a player that wants to control the ball first, and then he's able to pass. But if you aggressively press him to receive and play at least the first touch, you are highly likely to get a mistake out of him, or he's highly likely to make a stray pass, and you're able to obviously then from the throw in, and then you can attack. So for me, I want to see Orlando Pirates making a plan of how they can aggressively press Mteto, because that is where you are likely to get high turnovers, right? So let us also look at Emma spaces from Orlando Pirates. I'm saying from Kaizer Chiefs side, where they exist. We all know, I think everybody is aware, that Kaizer Chiefs has left back issues. And on top of them having left back issues, they also want to use Ukros, to actually provide them with and actually attack. And when he moves up the field, behind him, there is a space that normally exists. And that is a space that can be exploited by Orlando Pirates, especially because Ukros doesn't have the greatest of recovery runs in this particular instance, and he's not comfortable defending facing his goalkeeper. He's also not comfortable with ball played behind the line, and also balls played in between him and Dudley. He struggles defending those kind of situations. I want to see Orlando Pirates exploiting that part, because that is highly likely where you're gonna get goals, right? Also, the player that I want them to target is Miguel, personally, because I think he's a player that lacks pace. But what he then does by that is, because he gets attracted by central striker, when the central striker drops, he drops with him. But if that striker turns, or he passes to the next player, or he gives it into the line and say, let's run, that's when he starts then holding the player, because he doesn't want to be exposed, because he hates turning and facing his goalkeeper, defending facing his goalkeeper. That's why he's making too many fouls and red cards, because he doesn't want to be exposed in those kind of situations. Sure, because he always jumps the line of 4 into the striker and open a space as well behind him. Also, there is another space that is likely to be exploited, and I'm highly likely Orlando Pirates are going to start with Makhubu, because he will create those kind of situations in this particular game, right? The other thing as well that I noticed with Kaizer Chiefs is they tend to switch off defensively, especially when the momentum of the game is switching to their advantage. They seem to get excited and they lose their rest defense shape, and they ended up being caught napping, right? Let's look at their most dangerous players. For me, Mdu Shabalala is Asidauti. He's probably one of their, in my own view, one of their most dangerous players, because in the PSL currently he's the third player in terms of PSL, in terms of chances created, because he's the player that makes Kaizer Chiefs play. Everything goes through him, and also he can score goals. By the way, he has scored 4 goals already, and the top goal scorer has scored 6 goals. I want to see how Orlando Pirates is going to actually plan, because they need to find a way to cut off supply to him and starve him the ball, right? And they have to, then he will be forced to either drift wide to the outside channel to receive the ball, or he's gonna drop deep to collect as well. The other one is Usirino. He score crackers, guys, especially outside the box. And in particular, you allow him space into the 14 and 15 zones, guys, he's gonna bury you alive, right? Also, if you look at Kaizer Chiefs, guys, critical this one, right? Kaizer Chiefs, whenever they break the first and the second line of pressure, or even on transition, they always use the 14 and the 15 zone to actually attack. They attack that area with pace, and they are dangerous in those kind of situations, right? So I want to see how Orlando Pirates are going to deal with that type of situation. Then the other thing is on set pieces. I think Kaizer Chiefs is one club that have started to master the art of playing set pieces, because on corner kicks, as well as maybe on most of standard situations, I think Kaizer Chiefs can get goals in those kind of situations. Because I've also noticed lately that it's ended up adding a variation to their set piece. So they use a two-player combination where one makes the faint run and then the other one, a faint run, and then the other one then will cross the ball into the box. So I want to see, is Orlando Pirates prepared for such situations, right? But guys, don't take lightly Kaizer Chiefs. They might not be at their best, but a Soweto Derby, we all know that in this one, form doesn't count. What you do in the game is what actually happens. Who scores first? It will be very interesting how the games turns out as well, because I think it will be very, very exciting if each of these two teams score first, because the other one will be forced to come out and it's going to be a game, right? But guys, Kaizer Chiefs create a lot of chances. Orlando Pirates must not be fooled. I've said it in one of the episodes on the TTB show, on my BigDaddy Scouting 101, and I was talking about big chance creation, and we have always defined what is the big chance creation, because it's where the receiver is expected to score, right? It's either a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, or he doesn't have any defensive pressure, or it has a close range. If you look at it, Chiefs is number one in terms of big chances created. They have created 37. Where the problem is, they are missing those chances. They missed about 26 of those chances. For me, it talks about them scoring. So don't be fooled. Chiefs are going to create chances in this particular game. It will be very, very interesting how Orlando Pirates deals with it. But Fetu, Danko, I want you guys to comment in this particular video and let me know, is there any other detail in this particular game that I've missed? Away.